recover faster. They probably both work. I know the second one works. The first one, you know, you could end up in a position where it's going to be a long time before you start. No way I would have given them $150 billion. No way. In a million years. And one of the saddest things is the money's gone. And by the way, 2 days before the money left, see, the Art of the Deal. Hold that book up. See, The Art of the Deal. He reads it. Everybody. Who didn't read The Art of the Deal? Everybody reads The Art. But I always say the Bible is much better. There's not a contest, right? Because that's one of the great books, but the Bible is much better. So there are so many, not even close. Do we agree? I will tell you, right? We agree. But The Art of the Deal has been a great book. Obviously, Kerry did not read The Art of the Deal. Probably didn't read the Bible either, but these are... But it's a very sad thing. That whole episode with Iran is a very sad thing. And then 2 days before the money is sent, they capture 10 beautiful young sailors. They put guns to their heads. They roughed them up in terms of, at least mentally, they were devastated. And they humiliated our country. They humiliated the 10 people, 1 woman and 9 men. And that's what we're dealing with. Not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen anymore. We're going to be the smart country instead of the dummies that everyone laughs at. They laugh at us because we have people that don't know what they're doing, like Sergeant Bergdahl. We get Bergdahl, a traitor. They get 5 killers that they've coveted, they've wanted for 9 years. And those 5 killers are back on the battlefield, or soon will be. But these are the ones they wanted, these 5. So we knew he was a traitor before we made the deal, because they had a general and a colonel interviewing all of the people that he worked with in the military. They knew he left. 6 people died looking for him. 5 definitely, probably 6. Died. They went out looking for him. They tried to get him back. He left. And that's the way we negotiate. We get Bergdahl, they get 5 great killers for them, the people that they want. Not going to happen anymore. Not going to happen. So I tell these stories, and I go around and I meet with crowds, and we have tremendous crowds. We have by far the biggest crowds, far, far, far bigger than Bernie. And Bernie's heading down now, I think. Bernie looks like he's over, and looks like Hillary's going to be protected from the email scandal by the Democrats. I mean, can you believe it? So many people, for doing much less than she did, are in prison and just, devastated. No, think of it. Think of it. For doing less than she did. And she looks like she's just going to be, she's going around. Boy, did you ever see anybody so nice to the president, though? Oh, the president is wonderful, she says. Oh, the president, he's great. What he wants to do this. Oh, that's wonderful. Whatever he wants. You know why she's doing that, right? Do you know why? I know why. Boy, oh boy, she's become like a marshmallow. Everything he does, oh, it's wonderful. Whatever he wants to do, it's wonderful. The president... Man, I tell you, couldn't be. Her life cannot be so easy. But she is, what she's done is so wrong, and it's so unfair. And it looks like she'll be the nominee, and it looks like nothing will happen. But it'll be something that'll be discussed. I promise you, it will be discussed often, often, often. So, with that, I think we're really doing well. It looks like we're on a great trend, and we have tremendous support, and we have amazing people in this country. And one of the most amazing people in the whole country is our great friend, Pat. Will you come out here, Pat? Look at him. One of the great people.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Pat.
Wonderful. Thank you. Man, it's good to have you here with us.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You inspire us all.
It's great to be here. Good morning to be here. Supposing I lost, I probably would have called Pat. I don't know if I want to be there today, right? Yeah. No, we had a great evening.
A great evening. Let me ask you. You're working on a project in Washington on Pennsylvania Avenue, right. The old post office building. Everybody wanted it, but you got it. The Art of the Deal. What did you do?
Well, it's a great building. It's the old post office, built in the 1880s. It's an amazing building with walls that are 5 and 6 feet thick of solid granite. Mm-hmm. They don't build them that way anymore. Yeah. Today they use plastic, right? And this is an amazing building, one of the most beautiful buildings in Washington. And for years it was the post office. And I always say to people, if you can get the post office in a city, you always get the best location because they're always there first,
That's
right? And this is the one for Washington. So they put it out to bid. And it was one of the most hotly contested projects ever in the history of the GSA, government services, where they sort of the landlord for United States real estate, big landlord. And they chose us. And it's a great honor because we were chosen in the Obama administration, which is sort of amazing because a lot of people thought we wouldn't be able to get it. But we have a great financial statement. They want to make sure it gets done. And we have a great track record for this stuff. And we're building now a hotel, 300 rooms, that is going to be, I think, one of the great hotels of the world. We're a year and a half ahead of schedule, even more than that, but we're a year and a half ahead of schedule, which is a little unusual when you're talking about governments because they're never even close. But we're 1.5 years and we're under budget, and it'll open in September of this year. And they're supposed to open up in September in 2 years from now. And I thought I could do something. You know, we really have a great team. Eric and Donna working on it, and Ivanka is really in charge of that one. And she's done an amazing job. And it's going to be one of the most beautiful hotels. I think it'll be one of the great hotels of the world.
Now, let's assume that you run the table and that you, about a year from now, that you've got your hand on the Bible and you're swearing an oath before the Chief Justice of the United States. And then you're president. At that point, you're it. Okay. There's a little office underneath the Capitol where you could go to, and by the stroke of the pen, you could cancel a great many of the executive orders of your predecessor. You don't need Congress. Executive order, you can do it. What would you do?
Well, I would do that. We expect to cancel many of the executive orders that were passed because, you know, Obama has not been able to run things the way you're supposed to run them. You're supposed to get the congressmen in, the senators in. You're supposed to make deals like Ronald Reagan, Tip O'Neill. They were opposites, but they made deals and they liked each other. I will say this, Pat. I've been involved in politics for a long time, all my life. I've gotten tremendous zoning changes. I deal in politics in other countries because we're building all over the world, and we have jobs going up all over the world, a lot of jobs. But I have never seen division like you have now. You know, it used to be you'd go to a restaurant in Washington, you'd see a Republican having dinner with a Democrat and they're best friends.
That's right.
You don't see that anymore. There's hatred. The country is so divided. Whether it's African American, white, congressman, Democrat, Republican. I mean, it's just like we have a whole divided country. I've never seen anything like it. But we used to see, and I used to be part of, Democrats and Republicans having dinners together with their families and their wives. And it was a nice thing. Sure. And then, you know, there'd be combat the next day, but they'd get along and they'd get things done. So today we have a president that can't get anything done, and he signs executive orders. So one of the first ones I'd knock out is his executive order on the Second Amendment, where he's chipping away at it, which is so important, the Second Amendment. And the other one would be the one on the border, where basically he wants people to pour into the country unchecked. And the courts have been, you know, following that one. And amazingly, we had a couple of pretty good decisions so far. But it's still out there. So I'd save the legal fees, frankly. I'd get rid of it. I'd knock it out very fast. But because we do have to, and I know you believe in this, you have to have strong borders. If we don't have strong borders, you saw the Pope came out against me a little bit. But that was before he was very nice because the next day he issued a statement.
Well, he realized he had a pretty big wall around the Vatican. And so he said...
Pretty big. Pretty big. No, he was fine. I mean, he was told probably that, oh, you have this man named Trump and he wants to create very strong borders and he wants to build a wall. We got to build a wall. We're going to build a wall. Drugs are pouring across the border. People are coming in just like, it's like we don't even have a country. You don't have a border, you don't have a country. So, but he was good. He was a little bit strong at first. Sort of interesting because it was the day before the election, right? And I said to myself, oh, no. And my people came up to me. They said, Mr. Trump, the Pope just made a big statement about you. I said, good or bad? Now, you have to say, we have the election like the next morning. So it's good or bad? They said, not good. I said, oh, this is a disaster. And it turned out to be that he talked about the border. And he did mention the wall. And then I said, the first thing I thought of, I said, but I've seen the Vatican. That's the most incredible wall. That wall goes up to that ceiling, right? I said, what about this? So I think he actually took a little heat. He actually was very, very nice the next day. You know, nobody explained to him about the crime. Nobody explained to him about the drugs pouring across and the economy. And he was actually very nice. But it was a very interesting period. You don't want to hear the day before your election that the Pope said something about you that's not.
We've got a massive deficit, and we're running a deficit every year, and the wasteful spending is out of control. There was a commission, Senator Simpson and Erskine Bowles got together and gave a very reasoned proposal. Have you adopted anything like that? We've got to have some way of cutting the spending down. What are you going to do?
Other than, and I think I could add to it a lot, though, because I'm going to bring jobs back to the country. Our country has been stripped. We've rebuilt China. And again, I like China. I think China is wonderful. I'm not angry at China. I'm angry at our representatives, our people, our president for doing such bad deals. And not just Obama. This goes back. You know, this isn't just now. But Obama's been horrible, and others have been also. And so I'm not upset with China. I have them as tenants in my bank. I have the biggest bank in the world as a tenant in one of my buildings in Manhattan. I sell millions and millions of dollars worth of condominiums to the Chinese. So I can't be angry at them. Same thing with Mexico. I mean, I have great relationships with Mexico. Problem is, in both cases, but really in all cases, all countries, every country is killing us because we have people that are political hacks that are negotiating trade deals. They know nothing about it. And they have the smartest, sharpest people that they pick out when they're practically 3 years old. You understand that? Yeah. They go up this pyramid chain and they pick them out very early. And our people cannot deal with it because we're not using our... And we have the greatest business people in the world. We don't use them. So Carl Icahn, as an example, endorsed me. Many of the business people endorsed me, the great ones. And we're going to use our greatest business people to negotiate trade deals. And we're going to not be losing this kind of money. We have horrible, horrible deals with Japan and everyone else.
You know, there was a law passed, Sarbanes-Oxley, and the numbers of IPOs that have been brought forth since then have been drastically curtailed. Now we've got the inversions where people go from Ireland or Canada or some low tax and put their headquarters there.
That's right.
And yet our tax burden on corporations is probably the highest in the world. What are you going to do with it?
So we have the highest taxes in the world, the United States. Think of it, with deficits like this, and yet we have high taxes. I'm cutting taxes very substantially for businesses. We're going to bring businesses back. We're going to bring our jobs back. We're going to make sure that, you know, look, China is one of the great currency manipulators in history, ever. There's nobody ever like this. Japan is really good, but China is even better. And they have done a number on us with manipulation, with devaluations. In fact, our dollar goes up and everyone says, oh, isn't that wonderful? In the meantime, look at Caterpillar. They can't sell a tractor. It's a very bad situation going on. So, and they have no fear of us. They have no respect for us anymore. In the South China Sea, just before I left, I was watching where they're building this massive, massive military complex in the middle of the South China Sea. They're not supposed to be doing it. But they're doing it because they don't respect our president. They don't, I mean, he gives them state dinners when they come over, but they have no respect. And we have a lot of power over China. We just don't know it. We have people that don't know it. The power is straight. We've rebuilt them. They are taking so much money out of our country. What they've done, and I say it, it's the greatest robbery in the history of the world, what they've done. We've rebuilt China. You just take a look. We have rebuilt. They've taken so much money out. And we have to stop it. And we have to use our power, because we have a lot of power because of trade. We have to stop it. And we can get them to do things like they have to solve the North Korea problem. We have a North Korea problem that you probably know better than I do, because I know that's also a part of the world that you look at.
That's right.
But we have a big problem. You know they don't exist without China. But China, Pat, says, well, we don't have that kind of control. They're just toying with us. They have total control over him. The other one that does is Iran. Yeah. So why didn't we, when we made our deal a month ago, why didn't we insist that they take care of this guy instead of us always going over with the ships and the weapons and the planes and, you know, dropping bombs if we have to? And then you have South Korea, who I love. I have buildings in South Korea. But they make a fortune. I buy television sets. I buy tremendous amounts of things from there, because we don't make television sets anymore, folks. I would like to make them. We don't make them. We used to make them. You remember Sylvania, RCA? But those days are gone, right? We're not even supposed to be talking about that, because it shows that we're not as young as we used to be. But we don't make it anymore. And here you have an economic behemoth in South Korea, and they pay us peanuts. But every time, we have 28,000 soldiers between North and South Korea. That's a dangerous job, by the way. But we have 28,000 soldiers. We get paid peanuts. They make a lot of money. And they're good people. Everything's good. But they have to take care of us. We're not in a position to be the policeman of the world. We have to be taken care of. And so there are a lot of things we can do when we're president.
What are we going to do to North? How would you specifically go after the North? I mean, they claim they've got a thermonuclear weapon.
Yeah.
You think that's true?
Well, I would start with China.
All right.
Because China has